Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl Butler, and you're listening to the Mighty Mommy's Quick and Dirty Tips podcast, which will help make your life as a parent a little bit easier and a lot more fun. Welcome. Today's episode is number 345, titled 5 Ways to Support a Child with Learning Disabilities. Mighty Mommy has lots of experience with this topic, so stay tuned to learn more. The new academic year has been underway for several weeks, and most families are settling into their back-to-school routines and are ready to take on the more demanding responsibilities the school year brings on. For children with learning disabilities, however, this transition can be a lot more difficult, making the first few weeks stressful and trying. All children need love and encouragement and support. For kids with learning disabilities, such positive reinforcement can help them emerge with a strong sense of self-worth, confidence, and the determination to keep going, even when things are tough. Mighty Mommy has 3 children with learning disabilities, 2 who have successfully graduated from high school and gone on to college. Here are 5 ways that you can be supportive and help your child thrive in and out of the classroom this year. And tip number 1. Make your home a comfort zone. When kids who have learning disabilities walk out the door from their homes and head out into their school world, every day they leave behind their comfortable turf where they can usually be relaxed. They now must enter into an atmosphere where they don't feel as adequate and have to hold it together for 6 or more hours as they navigate through their school day. We can't control all of the factors that happen outside of our homes, but we can create a positive and safe environment while they're at home. Make a conscious effort to keep the home fires burning with peace, love, and comfort, and that's one enormous way that families can support their child who has learning disabilities. Tip number 2, assess the overall picture. Whether you've just learned your child has a learning disability or you've known for a few years, keep things in perspective. A learning disability isn't insurmountable, Remind yourself that everyone faces obstacles. It's up to you as a parent to teach your child how to deal with those obstacles without becoming discouraged or overwhelmed. Don't let the tests, school bureaucracy, and endless paperwork distract you from what's really important, giving your child plenty of emotional and moral support. Become your own expert. Stay abreast of the particular learning struggles that your child faces by researching new developments in learning disability programs, outside therapies, and educational techniques. Although teachers, specialists, and even your pediatrician will be very helpful and tremendous resources to you and your family, remember that you know your child better than any of these folks. So take charge when it comes to finding the tools that he or she needs in order to learn. Tip number 3, be an advocate for your child at school. You may have to speak up from time to time to get additional help for your child. I know I did with my 3 kids who had definite learning needs. However, I decided early on that I was going to be a proactive parent who would advocate for my kids so that their needs were reasonably met. The way I chose to do this was by building a positive relationship with their schools in all ways possible. I got to know the office staff, their individual teachers, and the resource team on a very personal level. I took the time to send handwritten notes throughout the year when I wanted to thank them for when things were going really well, and I physically made appearances throughout the year, even if it was just to drop off paperwork in person rather than sending it in my child's backpack. This helped in more ways than one, so that when there was a problem that needed to be addressed, I felt comfortable, and the team went out of their way to make sure my child's needs were being met. My kids also were aware that I had this presence amongst their school environment, so it helped them relax more because they knew we were all on the same page. I know, it may be frustrating at times, but by remaining calm and reasonable yet firm, you can make a huge difference for your child. Tip number 4, set a can-do tone. One important thing to remember is the way you behave and respond to challenges has a big impact on your child. A good attitude won't solve the problems associated with a learning disability, but It can give your child hope and confidence that things can improve and that she or he will eventually succeed. Try not to get frustrated when you're dealing with his or her learning deficits, especially in front of your child. With my 3 learning disabled kids, I found that they always seemed more confident and tried harder when I was a cheerleader. For example, when they were having a tough time with homework that they just didn't understand, or many times I didn't understand some of it myself, and they were in near tears saying, "I'm so stupid, Mom. I'm never going to get this math problem. I'm always going to be the last kid in the class to finish their work," etc. I would immediately go into my cheerleader mode. I turn it around with thoughts like, "You're not stupid. You're just learning something brand new to you." Anyone learning new material and new ways of doing things has to be taught first. You can't just expect to get it on the first try. Let's work on it together. And if we can't still figure it out, we'll figure out who can help us until you do understand it. Or even, "Come on now, give me a little smile," even just a little one. We might as well try to have some fun while we're doing this. Pretty soon, you'll be cruising through these math problems, but it's not going to happen if you act like an Eeyore. You've got to at least try. If my kids saw me being calm and having a can-do attitude, it would usually help them focus and feel like it was going to be okay if they at least try to understand the homework. Remember that your influence outweighs all others. Your child will follow your lead. If your approach to learning challenges is optimism, hard work, and a sense of humor, your child is likely to embrace your perspective, or at least see the challenges as a speed bump rather than a roadblock. Focus your energy on learning what works for your child and implementing it the best way that you can. Number 5, help develop strengths in and out of the classroom. By focusing on your child's strengths rather than his or her weaknesses, you're going to help build self-esteem and gain momentum within all the difficult areas that they're facing. For children with learning disabilities, self-awareness, knowledge about strengths, special talents, and knowing when and where they need to advocate for help are so important. Struggles in the classroom can cause children to doubt their abilities and question their strengths outside of school as well. Sit down with your child and list his or her strengths and interests. You can also use this time to share what you think your strengths and talents are to see what you might have in common in these areas. Next, go ahead and talk about the areas that are more difficult for him or her, as well as yourself. This opens up the area for conversation that will help your child realize that they're not alone when it comes to having difficulties. You can even encourage your child to talk to adults who do have learning disabilities and to ask about their strengths and challenges and how they've dealt with them. Find areas of success for your child and encourage his participation. Maybe it's sports or music. Work with your child on activities that are within his or her capabilities. This will help build feelings of success and competency. Help your child develop his or her strengths and passions. Every child learns differently, Even kids with learning disabilities, they have their ups and their downs, and we can find what works for them. Try to figure out how he or she learns best. Then encourage this type of learning. Maybe they need their math presented in words rather than in writing. My learning challenge kids are all visual learners, so we've made sure that when they're receiving instructions verbally, either in school or when we're trying to help them at home with a project, that we reinforce with some type of visual support. Lastly, read to your child for fun. Don't make it a chore. Make it a pleasure. Reading has been a constant source of tension for 2 of my kids who struggle because they can't always comprehend what they're reading for the first time around. But when we read together, I can stop and talk about something that we just learned in a particular chapter, and that way we can recap it together. This is a great way to streak 15 minutes or so together on a regular basis and stay connected throughout the school year and beyond. This is a great way to streak 15 minutes or so together on a regular basis and stay connected throughout the school year and beyond. Do you have a child who struggles with a learning disability? How do you support him or her? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section at quickanddirtytips.com/mighty-mommy, or post your ideas on the Mighty Mommy Facebook page, or email me at mommy@quickanddirtytips.com. And I hope you'll visit my family-friendly boards at pinterest.com/mightymommyqdt. Be sure to sign up for the upcoming Mighty Mommy newsletter, chock full of practical advice to make your parenting life easier and more enjoyable. Wishing you the best school year ever. Thanks for listening, and until next time, happy parenting.